All right, Calc, welcome to your exam number 4 of Spring 2018 Mega Review. Folks, today we are brought to you by the in-house sponsor of Ultra Running Shoe. Run fast like Mr. Yak with the Ultra One 2.5 edition. Also want to give a shout out to our Litchfield sponsors of Chinatown and Coffee Espresso. Folks, find the local and absolute extreme values. Actually, so on this one, just did the local. All right, so we're going to find the local extreme values of each function on the given interval. Okay, so here's what we do, folks. You got to find the derivative. Remember, min and maxes are when we go from increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing, so the derivative is 0. So find the derivative and set the derivative equal to 0. We get plus or minus 3. Now, in the interval 0 to 4, it's only 3 that we'll check. So first off, we find the beginning of that interval, f of 0, plug 0 into f of x, you get 10. Then we find 3, plug 3 into f of x, we get 64. Then we plug in 4, plug 4 into f of x, we get 54. So the minimum value is at 0.10. The max is at 364. Same thing here for number 2. All right, find the derivative. Set the derivative equal to 0. A little cross multiplication. Square root of x is 1/2. Square both sides. X is 1/4, which does fit into that interval 0 to 4. Plug 0 in for x, you get 0. Plug 1/4 in for x, you get 1/4 minus the square root of 1/4, which is -1/4. Then plug 4 in for x, you get 2. So there's the max and there's the min. All right, folks, I'd expect to see, now we might try this one in class, also practice that. You know, one of those you might have two, we'll see. Anyway, you're definitely going to have a bunch of find the general antiderivatives. This is a day 1 question as well. All right, just one power up divided by that new power, which that is definitely not. We definitely did not do that, folks, on the first one. That is bad. That is most definitely just the derivative. So one power up would be 2x to the third minus, and then divide by that power, plus c. So that is actually going to be 2x to the third minus 4x squared plus, we're going to do that one again, plus 3x plus c. That is just overall not good. And folks, we did the same thing before we finally, this is always makes for good video. Let's try, number 5 is going to be just x minus 1/4 x to the 4th plus 2x to the 6th plus c. This is just fantastic video. All right, that's the answer there for number 5. One power up divided by that new power. Okay, and look, folks, number 6 is all good. One power up divided by that new power. Don't forget about that constant of integration that you got to think about. Same thing for number 7, one power up divided by that new power. Again, pause this whenever you need. This is just some basic algebra. Shouldn't have any issue here. One power up divided by the new power. Again, when you divide by, 7/3, you're really multiplying by 3/7. And number 9, first divide everything by x squared. Okay, and then take the antiderivative. One power up divided by the new power. That's what we're doing exactly on number 10. All right, so on number 10, that's exactly what we are doing. Divide everything by x to the 6th, then it's just one power up divided by that new power. And 11, the antiderivative of cosine is just positive sine because the derivative of sine gives you cosine. If the derivative of cosine gives you negative sine, then the antiderivative of negative sine is just positive cosine. Remember, you're going to divide by 2 because you would, in taking the derivative of 2 theta, you'd multiply by 2. The antiderivative, you divide. All right, folks, those are solid day 1 questions as same thing here on number 12. Divide everything by x first, then take the antiderivative. Antiderivative 1 over x is natural log x because the derivative of natural log x is 1 over x. Here, folks, the antiderivative, instead of multiplying for e to the 2x by 2, divide. Antiderivative of secant x, or secant squared x, is tangent x. Don't forget about that constant of integration. Those are all day 1 questions. Find the antiderivative of f find the antiderivative capital F of lowercase f. That satisfies the given condition. So take the antiderivative. The antiderivative evaluated at 0 is 4, so that means C is 4 in this case. That means C is 4. Next one here, 15, 1 power up divided by that new power. I showed a little bit of work. If I plug 0 in for x in my antiderivative and I get -3, that means C is going to be -3. A little bit more work. So I do like 2 of these. 2 of these are very good. A little bit more work on 16. Take the antiderivative. This time f of 1, big F of 1 is 13. So plug 1 in for x. You get 13. I believe you get 17 over 2. Again, high possibility for some more errors. So please check that. Those are also day 1 questions. We'll keep going here. Find f. So if I give you f prime of x, we've got to take the antiderivative twice. Take the first antiderivative, and you have c. And then take the antiderivative again. When you take the antiderivative of constant, it's just going to be plus cx, and then plus a new constant of integration. We'll call it d. On 18, take the antiderivative first. And then again, so when you do 1 power up divided by that power, that 5 is going to multiply by 4 to give you 20. 1 power up, 8 divided by 8, 7 times 8 is going to give you 56. Again, when you take the antiderivative of constant, it's going to be that constant times x, plus your new coefficient, or your new, constant of integration. Take the antiderivative of cosine. It is just sine x plus c. The antiderivative of sine is negative cosine x plus cx there, plus d. This one right here, number 20, is very good. Now, I give you f prime of 0 is 1, so when you take the first antiderivative, c is going to be 1. And then do it again. If you know f of 0 is 2, that means d, or your next constant, c, is just going to be 2 again. There. All right. Here. Wow. On 21. Okay, so take the first antiderivative, negative cosine plus sine plus c. F of 0, folks, cosine, right there, I underlined it. Negative cosine of 0 is going to be -1, not 0. So C's 5 in this case. Okay? And then for D, take the antiderivative. F prime of x is what? Negative sine theta minus cosine theta plus 5x plus D. When you plug 0 in again, this one right here is going to be -1. So then D is also going to be 5. Guys, I did not finish 22. I think you guys can finish 22. I give you f prime of 1 is -3, so we can figure out what C is, and then we should be able to get to what D is. All right, we did that one in class on Monday, so somebody get that if you missed Monday. And then finally, finishing out the day 1 questions here, numbers 1 through 26. A particle is moving with the given data. Find the position of the particle. All right, so first off, the antiderivative of velocity is speed, so just take the antiderivative. All right, if s of 0 is 1, plug 0 in. Remember, cosine of 0 is 1. The opposite of that would be -1, so C is going to be 1. There it is. I really like the idea of giving you 2 of these. Notice how 2 of them involve sine, so I'd expect 1 of them. Here, folks, that is just 1½ t to the 1/2. 1 power up, divide that by that power. 1.5 divided by 3/2 is just going to cancel. Now, folks, I told you that S of 4 is 10, so plug 4 in for t. Take the square root of 4 and then raise it to the 3rd power. That's 8, so C is 2. All right, 25. Folks, you're given acceleration function, so to find velocity first, you have to find velocity first. All right, plus C. Then, to find speed, do the antiderivative of velocity. Now you have ct plus d. If I tell you that s of 0 is 0, remember, folks, cosine of 0 is 1. 1 times -3 is -3. So d is actually going to be 3 right there. And then I made a boo-boo initially. Take the, all right, we already have the s of t equation. Then plug in 2 pi in for t. All right, so that's going to be 0. 2 pi and 0 are the same location on the circle, so that's going to be -3 plus c times t plus 3. The -3 and the 3 will cancel. You're going to be left with 12 equals 2 pi c, divide both sides by 2 pi. C is 6 over pi. Interesting. And then you have that, I'm sorry, there should be a C there. Or not a C. There should just be a T. So 6 over pi t plus 3. Lovely. Bunch of mistakes. Anyway, take the antiderivative. 10t plus 3 halves, t squared minus t to the third plus c. You're given nothing about v of t, so take the antiderivative again. You have ct plus d. S of 0 is 0. There's no cosine, so d is 0. And then, folks, plug 2 in. Plug 2 in. You're left with 2 times c. And then do a little algebra. You're going to get c is -5. And that is your answer. All right, 1 through 26, those types of questions will be on Wednesday's exam part 1. And this is the first video for your Calc exam Wednesday and Thursday. So we will bring you video number 2 coming up.